Welcome, everyone. This right here, right now, is the Joy of Being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. If you're joining us anywhere in the world other than twitch.tv/deepmindfulness, please join us over here for the conversation. This is where the chat will be. This is where the action will be. And that's the shape of the world. Okay, folks, so as we're beginning to slide our way in here, let me know where you're coming from. Where are you coming from? What is happening in your world? Let us know those details. Let's see here. Welcome, folks, as you begin to creep in. So today, folks, I'm very excited. I have an announcement. We're going to be meditating. That's right. Meditation is on the table again. Meditation is back. So, we're going to be meditating, and let me make an adjustment. We're going to be meditating today, and we're going to be continuing our theme of exploring equanimity. Nate, welcome from wonderful West Virginia. You know, there's a great monastery there. Is it West Virginia? Yeah, that maybe we've talked about, I can't remember, but Bande Gunaratana runs the Bhavana Center. I always want to get back to West Virginia to go to that center. They're quite lovely over there. So if you can get yourself over there, it's quite the enjoyable thing. So folks, welcome. Nice to see people as they're popping in here. Duplino, welcome. Nick, welcome. Let's see. Smug Salty, South Sweden. Nice. I like that, the Smug Sweden action. Duplino, welcome. If it's your first time here, what we do here is we hang out, we chit-chat like kitty cats, and we meditate. That's the general shape of things. Someone told me that the name of this stream is actually a little off right now, that it's the title somewhere is that it's part 4 of the new series, but we're actually transitioning into the equanimity, which is a kind of deep inner acceptance. We're going to be meditating, sharpening that skill. So hopefully that'll be fun. So folks, we're going to be meditating for about 25 minutes. If that sounds crazy to you, if you're not used to that length of time, or if it sounds, tiny to you, wherever you're coming from, just know that it's completely doable, not a big deal, and you'll be surprised. People are usually surprised how quickly it goes by and how fruitful that time is. So, finding a nice, comfortable position that you can maintain. You guys got to tell me also if we should bust out the puppy today. The puppy's been quite an animal lately. It's pretty. It's been a character for sure. It's been kind of doing all sorts of things, being a puppy. So you got to let me know if you want the puppy on the stream later. We'll pull the puppy out. But for now, finding a nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. We will be practicing in stillness, so you want to find a way to hold the body still. If you're not used to that, typically people have the experience that, just moving the body is like an ordinary, normal thing to do. In meditation, by not moving the body, we create a feedback loop, which, learning stillness in the body is the way that we begin to learn stillness in the mind. Stillness doesn't mean there's no activity. It just means that we can handle or have a container for the activity. In this case, the container for the body sensations and the impulses to move is a still body. So finding that nice comfortable position. And we will begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths. And just feeling the body rise and fall. We'll begin by sweeping through the body to be sure we're not holding any undue tension. So starting at the top of the head, relax the brow. Relax the muscles behind the eyes, allowing them to fall towards gravity. Relax the back of the tongue, allowing the jaw to go slack. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. The upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists. And as you relax the hands, tuning into the sensations of the palms of the hands, tips of the fingers, and also any sensations of pressure where the hands rest. Letting go of any attempt to control the breath. Just noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and back as the breath comes and goes. Noticing that each time we breathe in, the chest and shoulders rise just slightly, a few millimeters. And each time the body releases the breath, it drops a little, pulling down towards gravity. Relaxing the belly and the lower back. Relaxing the hips and the upper legs. The knees and calves. The ankles and relaxing the feet. And opening up to tune into relaxation throughout the entire body. And in particular, noticing the effect of gravity on the body. Each time we relax, typically we're relaxing into gravity. When we let go of something, it's letting go into this downward pulling force. So we usually feel gravity in the places where the body is resting on the surface below, where the hands rest, where the legs rest. So simply feeling this pressure. And noticing that this same force is actually pulling everywhere in the body equally. So this broad, zoomed out experience, our awareness, is simply going to stay connected with the experience of gravity. And our attention, the part of the mind that can detect detail, will stay with the sensations of the breath, and in particular, any expressions of gravity within the breath. For instance, the rising and falling of the body, pulling against and succumbing to gravity with each breath. Or if we're observing the breath someplace where there isn't a lot of change or movement, simply detecting the same force, just in detail in this area. And of course, at times the mind will drift, reestablishing connection with the downward pulling force of gravity, in both our awareness and attention. If we're not used to using gravity and attending to gravity in this way, it can be a little more challenging to make the switch. And that's okay. Simply knowing gravity in this moment. Now transitioning to solely attending to gravity. Whether it's in detail or an overall sense of gravity in the body. Simply over and over clarifying that we're simply attending to this continuous, ongoing force. We can scan through the body, noticing gravity sensations in any particular part. You can be aware of the overall pull of gravity all throughout the body. We could even detect any other body sensations and ask that sensation, is this gravity? And this will typically clarify, separate out particular sensations and show us the part of it that is gravity, that is this ongoing force. If we'd like to use a mental label, we can use gravity. Or if we want a shorter one, we could simply use the word pull, referring to the pull of this force. Noticing the heaviness of the body. Being sure not to follow this heaviness down into dullness or sleepiness. And seeing if we can notice how singular this force is. How it only does one thing. It only has one function. How this force is somehow completely transparent, aside from its pulling quality. It asks nothing else. Whenever we arrive at a meditation, we arrive with the momentum of all of the previous moments. Our personal narrative, sense of self, our sense of time moving, of the arrangement of objects in the body and space. And we arrive with forms of mind that have tasks. The mind that makes a to-do list, the mind that looks for progress, the judging mind. And so soaking into the fact that this force has none of these. It doesn't need you to be anyone, to do anything. It's not trying to get somewhere. It doesn't have stress. It's not concerned about its place in the world. Whether it's cared for or loved by its peers. Simply noticing that it's just simply a force. And of course, other experiences will arise. And so we simply return back to the neutral nature of this force. Soaking into its force quality. Touching into this almost magic force that touches all of our experiences, but doesn't have any of our problems. And staying with this practice, staying in stillness, allowing a little bit of light to enter the eyes, and eventually resting the eyes on one point as they fully open. And letting this moment here with our eyes open be the great teacher, that which shows us how to bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. So what was that like? What happened? And what do you like now? So of course, take your time if you'd like to type in any responses, what that was like, anything you noticed from a sensorial perspective. And we also have a Discord. And, mental note for Tomlin, we want to set up auto, like a thing where we can just put one command in there, and it'll show people the quick link to either the voice Discord or the waiting room or the welcome page. So if you click the link Tomlin is about to throw in the chat, what will occur is that you'll be put in the welcome room, and then you can jump into the voice waiting room on Discord, and then we'll go from there. I can then chat with you and talk to you about what came up, what your experience was, and that kind of thing. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So, folks, welcome to the non-meditative part of this practice. Oh, here's something that's not working yet, but it will be working at some point. This is supposed to... oh, I might even play the music. Let me see if it plays the music. I'd be curious. That's supposed to... maybe you can hear me, maybe you can't. And then it's supposed to close and go right back to this. This is Q&A time. So, folks, let me know what's going on. What's happening in your life? How might I be helpful? I'm going to have to go a little earlier today than usual, so let me know if what's up. How was that practice? This is day 2, or part 2 of the series on equanimity and acceptance, and today we're exploring the force quality of gravity and noticing that this sensation doesn't actually need anything from us, doesn't want anything. It's just this ongoing force, and connecting with that ongoing force-like quality it can actually be incredibly helpful, because not only is that omnipresent, that quality, but it actually can show us that it's direct contact with something that doesn't need anything from us. And it's not that common that we have a lot of contact with something that doesn't actually need us to do anything or be anywhere, because, or not that we don't have contact with it, we don't have consciousness of, because often we just have the sense that we got to move forward and we got to get something, we got to achieve, or this kind of thing. So it's just nice to have contact with something like that. And with having contact with something like that, it begins to show us, hey, this is actually available all the time. And that's the general breakdown. Okay, so Nick says, geez, nice Q&A graphic. Hopefully you like it. Gravity is a weird one. This is what Nick's saying. Gravity is a weird one. Thought, obviously I can feel it, but couldn't actually find any corresponding sensation that said this is gravity. Yeah. At first, it's really weird, and right now, wherever you're sitting, it can be really, the pressure, exactly. So the pressure of gravity, but of course, the pressure itself is not the gravity. The pressure is the, combination of the gravity and the mass of the body. But it's really actually, once you get it, it's like really straightforward. So, you can lift the body up, and it falls down, and you can lift the body up, and it falls down. And it's like, well, I can tell what's making it lift up. It's my muscles. I'm pulling, right? And then I let go. What makes it fall down? And it's exactly that. Whenever you relax, right? The body succumbs to gravity to some degree. I want to get on the couch. Well, it's lower. It's easier than standing up. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Couldn't find gravity where I normally follow the breath. Yeah, I was guiding that and saying, I wonder if this is going to be a little too challenging. What I have done in the past, which is the way that I teach rising and falling, often people talk about rising and falling of the abdomen. I actually teach rising and falling using gravity. And so when you breathe in, the body rises and pulls against gravity. And when you breathe out, the body succumbs to gravity. Breathing in, pulls against, breathing out, succumbs. And that's actually how I teach. Usually we'll teach expansion contraction, because first you get people really connected with the force quality of gravity, and you say, notice that you can feel gravity every time you breathe out. It goes, whew, and you feel this sort of sinking. And have people note that, and then I have them note rising for the, pulling up. So they're noting rising and falling related to gravity and the muscles of the sort of diaphragm expanding the ribs and pulling the structure up. So it's rising and falling. And then this is if you're teaching an expansion contraction meditation, then you guide folks and say, someone's ringing the doorbell, which is very weird because anyway, I'm going to check who's at the doorbell. I'll be right back. Very strange. Looks like we have another crappy unboxing video. Well, that's exciting. Oh yeah, so I'll teach. I'll get people noticing the force quality of this and notice that there's the rising and the falling, but then there's this sort of it could be old Baltimore people who are like, whew, there's some. I knew some rough folks in Baltimore. Let's see. We'll open this package momentarily, but right now I'll finish what I was saying, is that then I point out that, notice that the rising quality, that basically the gravity is like a coat on a coat hanger, and that there's this, it's as though there's a rising quality and it's pulling against this falling experience, and actually that you can feel the rising because of the gravity pulling down. And you can feel the falling because of gravity pulling against the mass that is, dropping. And actually, you can feel both times. What I was going to say is you can feel both of those, interacting at the same time. So that is one way to start to get into the sort of dynamic nature of expansion contraction. It's often a very hard thing to teach. Many people have had their challenges teaching that. It makes me think I want to pull together all the good teachers that I know and have everyone teach a different sort of version of expansion contraction, because it's a tough thing to teach. Okay, so some Baltimore people, and then Nate says, "Easy, Baltimore is wonderful." So Nate, you may or may not know, but I went to school in Baltimore and spent almost 4 years there. I spent my last semester here in New York, and it was incredibly rough. It was very, very scary. I mean, at school we would run. I mean, we lived downtown, but at school we would run from building to building at night. It would be like, okay, we got to go get a thing at the other building. We'd like get our stuff and run, because there was a lot of violence around. There's a lot of, intense stuff. So I think that he's referring to me telling some of those stories in the past. Okay, so let's do this crappy unboxing. What do we got? This happens more often than it should. I'm looking at this box. I'm not even going to show what it is because I'm pretty sure it's not mine. I have a feeling it's not mine because I don't recognize it, and sometimes things come from our roommate. Oh, it is for me. Oh, that's probably dog related. Let's be honest. That's all I'm buying these days. Oh, I know what this is. This is a mat for my dog. Isn't that exciting, folks? A mat. Oh, look at the mat for my dog. So cute. It's cute for me because I recognize that my dog my dog's very adorable, and so it'll be hanging out on this more often than not. Let's see. You heard those stories about me living in Baltimore. You lived down there for 11 years, just moved last summer. And I know exactly where Mike is, so I understand. Yeah. And it was, it was a while ago. It was like, mid 2000s. So it was some stuff going on. The old Wire stories, The Wire, if people have seen the show, The Wire is a super idealized and like shiny version of Baltimore. It's so much grimier than that. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the people in Baltimore are really amazing. I really love the people there, and the situation was dire in many cases. If you ever want to see a real taste of what Baltimore, in my experience, was like, the precursor to the show The Wire was a little a short series, maybe like 5 episodes or something, called The Corner, made by the same, the concept was from the same person. It's the same sort of group of people that made it. And there's some of the same actors, but they just play totally different roles. And like the Bubbles character from what's it called? From The Wire is actually played by the, who's the police investigator who does all the little wood carvings. I forget his name, but he basically plays the Bubbles character. So it's really interesting. You see a lot of the same people like in these different roles. Check out The Corner, and that's actually, in my experience, more what it was like, which was like it was really intense. So that said, any other questions or anything? I don't want to keep people here in meditation jail. Anything else as people are getting ready for their awesome Wednesday all over the world? You know, we're trying to talk, this is sort of side comment, but we're trying to figure out, like, should we send our dog away to like a training boarding thing to train it more intensely, in part because we're sort of confused. We're like, why is the dog doing this, and what is it, why, you know, and it's all a little confusing to us. So we're having this idea of, should we actually send our dog away for a few weeks, and will that even do anything? Was that even a good idea? We'll see. Okay, so by the way, interesting allusion last time when you showed us your point of view. To me, it revealed how ingrained the feeling of I am the center of the universe is, even though you know that's not the case intellectually, but the feeling overrides. The feeling overrides it. Yeah, it's interesting, and part of that, being able to think from someone else's point of view, is what's called mentalizing. It's a really, really good skill to develop. And just for me now to know that it's tough because I can't, do everyone individually, but to have a sense, okay, your view of the world is different than mine, and you're in a particular situation, and whatever that is, it's helpful to know, and it's helpful to do that actually when you're interacting with people. It's really, really useful, and it's good psychologically. It helps the system not get so stuck in our own fixed view. Wait, I just realized, I want that to be part of the curriculum of this course that I'm teaching now, and I can't remember if I put that in there, is mentalizing. Where is that damn? Okay, I got to send myself a note. Okay, so there's one more comment here. Okay, so I'm writing myself a short email. A one-word email. Mentalizing. Okay, great. Let's see. We have another comment here. Okay, I'm going back. Point of view, yeah. And let's see, Nate likes the show, The Wire. Like all the time, I felt you were looking at me and you were actually looking at the camera. What a rude way to invade my personal perspective. Yeah, it's interesting, though, because when I look at the camera, I actually... It would be very alienating if I thought about it as looking at the camera. And it would just be too alienating. I wouldn't like it. So it feels like I'm talking to a person. It's interesting because it's a lot of see in, but it is very much like I'm talking to you. The upside of that is that the technology also makes it seem like I'm talking to whoever else is looking at the camera. But it is for me very much that it feels like I'm talking to someone. And if I don't do that, I get very it feels very weird. Like, who the hell am I? Like, what am I even doing here? And alienating. I hear the beginnings of whimpers from my dog. Nick says, well, just thinking out loud, good luck with the puppy. Can't help you there. Yeah, exactly. And I meant stream setup POV, exactly. I wish I sort of can, but I sort of don't want to mess with my stream setting. I could actually pull the camera off the lens here. Let's see. Speaking of shows, I have to leave soon to get tickets for Tab at noon. What is Tab? What is that? Oh, Trainastasia Band. Oh, okay, I get it. That's cool. Yeah, I'm so out of touch generally. I'm like, oh my God, there's a concert next weekend. It was like New Year's Eve. We're about to leave for our honeymoon, and I was walking through New York, and I was like, wait, why is that band's name on the thing? And I was like, wait, Fish is playing at Madison Square Garden. Is it at Madison Square Garden? I was like, oh right. I didn't even know. I never pay attention to these things, and I rely on others, talking to you, to keep me informed when good things are happening. So just for fun, we're going to release this camera. And it's connected by wires, so... Oh, I don't know if I can focus, though, because it's not an autofocus camera. Oh, it looks so dark. Oh, I can see, though. Okay, so this is my view. Very dark, though. This is what it looks like for me. This is the thing that I'm constantly messing with while I'm recording the audio. This is how I get reasonable audio. This is the light that's blinding me while I'm looking at you. And this is where you are, typically. When I'm looking at you, I'm looking right here. Kind of funny. Okay. Wop, wop, wop. And come on, get in there, little sucker. Is that it? Okay. I can't tell if that's it. Okay, we'll see. All right, folks. I have a wish for you. The wish today. Seems like the camera's all messed up. Okay. So my wish for you today is that right? Is that right? My wish for you today is that you are, oops, I'm out of focus. So that you are able to just connect even right now with a little bit of the force, ongoing continuous force of gravity, feeling that downward pulling experience, and recognizing that neutrality, recognizing the neutrality of any sensation. At first, it's just sort of noticing something that is in its nature neutral. It just has sort of one quality. Silence is another good one. And then from there, recognizing that actually all sensations have that neutral quality. All sensations are effectively neutral. The system reads them as being pleasant or unpleasant, etc. But actually, all of our sensations are just forces pulling against each other. And actually, the sense of solidity that we have right now, that you're feeling in your body, the sort of sense of an ongoing, continuous body, is actually a set of turbulences sort of mashing into each other, forces pulling in different ways. That's also one of the things I try to show when I do the rising and falling of the breath in that way, these different turbulent forces. Maybe we'll do that this sometime this week. Maybe that'd be a fun thing to do. Okay, let's see. Nate says, I listened to Sam Harris podcast with Richard Lang talking about the headless stuff. It's similar. Yesterday on my run. Yeah, there's a close correlation between some of the headless, quote-unquote, headless meditations and what we're doing. Basically, we're talking about a non-self experience, but there's a relation also to the camera stuff here. Lol, I just watched the video about the headless way. Weird coincidence. Yeah, well, it's in the air. Maybe we'll if you have a 5-minute video or something, maybe we'll talk about that. I think we maybe went over one of those on the stream once. We haven't done videos in a while. So maybe we'll start doing like Wednesday watch party kind of thing. So we have so it's alliterative. That's the most important thing. Not that it's fun or not that it's informative. As long as it's alliterative, then we'll be doing well. Okay, folks, I'm gonna put on this end music. Great to have you here. Where's my ending? There we go. Thank you so much for being here. It's always lovely to have you here, having fun, connecting with the meditation itself. And yeah, good times, folks. Thanks so much for meditating and practicing. If folks had trouble, sounds like a couple people had trouble with the practice around finding gravity, let me know and we'll work on that. We'll make sure it is a little easier next time. Bye. Have fun, folks. Good to see everyone out there in the world. If you're watching this on playback, I can't believe you're still here.